Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take compelling source material and, well, really break it down into insights you can use right away. Today, we're diving into personal alchemy, inner transformation, this whole powerful idea that life happens for you, not just to you. It's the core of the shift happens philosophy. The sources really emphasize that we're not just meant to, go through life. We're meant to grow through it. I just love that image they use, two caterpillars, right? Watching a butterfly float by. And one says to the other, "You'll never get me up in one of those things."
Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? We get so convinced of our limitations, and that's really our focus today. How do we shed that conditioned idea of who we are? The sources call it personal alchemy, like taking a piece of grit, something irritating, and, well, turning it into a pearl, like an oyster does.
Finding that inner pearl, the real self.
Exactly, and figuring out how to, turn life's lemons into lemonade along the way.
So let's jump right into maybe the most radical idea here.
Yeah.
True happiness isn't something you find out there.
Yep.
It's described as an inner light with no off switch. It's already inside you.
It's innate, completely, which means it's unconditional. The source material has this fantastic story, a talk given in Dublin.
Oh yeah, with Deepak Chopra on stage.
Right, 20 minutes into this, serious talk, and a baby starts gurgling near the front.
And then, just like that, 1,000 people shift their focus. They stop listening to the speakers and just watch this baby.
And when the mother lifts him up,
The whole room just erupts, cheering, applauding this tiny 10-week-old baby.
which leads to the big question, doesn't it? What did that baby do?
And nothing. Objectively nothing. No awards, no achievements, just being.
Gurgling and dribbling.
Yeah.
That baby, that's the symbol for the unconditioned self.
That's the real you. The original potential, that light we all start with.
Exactly.
Before life piles on, the bad grades, the heartbreaks, the mortgages, all the conditioning.
Right. The stuff happens, but the sources are clear. That original light, it never actually goes out.
It's fascinating how different traditions point to the same thing.
Yeah, Zen calls it your original face. Alchemists, the inner gold. Hindus talk about eternal bliss consciousness.
So many names for it.
But the core message is identical. What you're looking for, wholeness, joy, peace, it's already here inside you.
Which flips everything. You are what you seek.
Profound, isn't it? The biggest illusion, the sources argue, is this gnawing fear that something's missing.
In us or in our lives.
Yeah. And that belief in lack, that's what fuels the endless, exhausting search for happiness out there.
Like that story about Susan, the lawyer in the mental health hospital.
Oh, the jigsaw puzzle.
Yes, she was absolutely convinced a piece was missing, searched high and low.
Driven by that certainty of lack, only to find.
The puzzle was complete. Everything was there all along.
And she says, it's the story of my life. I always think there must be a piece missing.
Wow. That constant striving because we think we're incomplete.
But if you accept this core idea that you are the source, that you are the sacred ground, then truth, love, joy, they're here because you're here.
Okay, so if that wholeness is inherent, what gets in the way? What creates all the struggle and pain we experience?
That brings us squarely to the main obstacle, the ego.
Which isn't a thing, right? Not really.
No, not tangible. It's
Yeah.
just a collection of small ideas, limited beliefs about yourself, the mini-me, the conditioned personality, and it runs on one core, flawed belief. The sources give it that acronym, EGO.
Everything good is outside.
Exactly. It needs stuff from the outside, validation, status, things to feel okay, to feel whole.
And this kind of manufactured identity, this mini-me, it creates this sense of separation.
Precisely. Remember Einstein calling separation an optical delusion?
Right.
When you buy into that delusion, you automatically create lack, conflict, pain. It's like you fence off a tiny piece of the universe and say, this is me, and I'm separate from everything else.
That image of the fence.
It's powerful. The source mentions the Old English root of hell literally means fence or boundary. Believing you're separate, trapped by these made-up limits. Well, that's a kind of hell.
So healing must involve seeing past that fence.
Absolutely. And understanding the suffering principle. That which suffers is not you.
Meaning the pain belongs to the thoughts, the beliefs, not the core self.
Exactly. It's about distinguishing experience from identity. Saying, I experienced failure, okay, that's an observation.
But saying, I am a failure.
That's defining your whole being by a temporary experience. That's where the real suffering lies. Pain is just a response to fearful thoughts, but those thoughts aren't who you are.
And this separation, this fear, It often shows up as that I strain, right?
Yeah.
Dysfunctional independence.
Yeah, independence born from fear, not strength. It's that feeling of having to do it all
The
yourself.
superperson complex.
Right. Suffering from BMS, by myself syndrome. Asking for help feels like weakness. Receiving is almost impossible.
Because the ego needs to feel in control, even if it means constant struggle.
And that connects directly to our worldview. If you see the world as something that just happens to you,
Like, the world, my life, is me.
victim mode.
Exactly. Pavlov's dogs responding to stimuli, flat tire, day ruined, criticism, self-worth crushed.
Yeah.
It justifies the eye strain because you feel totally alone against the world.
Okay, so what's the alternative? The empowering view,
The source flips the script. Me plus the world is my life.
meaning I am part of the equation.
A huge part. The world isn't just happening to you, it's responding to you. It's described as a mind mirror.
A mind mirror.
Okay.
How does that work?
It perfectly accommodates your dominant thoughts and beliefs. It reflects them back.
So if I deeply believe, say, I have to struggle for everything.
The world, being essentially neutral, will likely mirror that struggle back in your experiences, finances, relationships, health, whatever. It accommodates the belief.
So it's not like the universe is punishing me, but more that my belief system filters how I perceive and interact with everything. That's a great way to put it. If you believe you're unlovable, you'll subconsciously look for evidence of rejection, maybe even provoke it, misinterpret things. You create the conditions that confirm your fear because the world is reflecting your inner state.
Which makes perception absolutely critical.
It's almost everything. The sources say there are no events, only perceptions. Perception is like 99% mental.
Your mind is the filter, deciding what gets in, what gets ignored.
Yeah. You see what you're looking for. The cynic finds proof of despair everywhere. The optimist sees openings and hope. And, in their own way, they're both right based on their chosen perception.
This leads to maybe the biggest choice, the meaning of life itself.
Right. We tend to think meaning is something you find. But Freddie Frankl.
Viktor Frankl's nephew, the logotherapy connection.
Exactly. Logotherapy is all about that human drive for meaning. Freddie said meaning isn't found, it's made.
We create it. We choose it.
That's incredibly empowering. It means interpretation is everything, especially when things get tough.
Which brings us to that practical tool for difficult times, the 180-degree shift.
Yes. Simple but powerful. When you're really troubled, stop, breathe, and ask, okay, what if? What if this bad thing is actually good? What if wrong is right? What if this trouble is secretly a gift?
That feels a bit like just pretending. Denial.
It's not denial, it's more like suspension. You're suspending the ego's immediate fear-based judgment. By asking, what if, you acknowledge, hey, this situation could mean anything. It cracks open the door just enough for a higher thought, maybe some intuition, to slip in past the panic.
So fundamentally, mental health is about choosing our thoughts.
It's the capacity to choose. And happiness. It might only be one thought away. The thought that reconnects you to that unconditioned self, releasing the painful identity.
But that takes faith.
It really does. Because everyday logic, the ego's way of thinking, it rarely gets you out of a deep hole. Faith is that willingness to look beyond the immediate scary thoughts and trust something deeper, inspiration, intuition, love, not just the ego's slow, fearful calculations.
Let's shift into applying this more practically, starting with resistance, like stress.
Right. The sources are clear. Stress isn't punishment, it's information. It's your system saying, hey, something needs to change here. This approach isn't working.
And exhaustion.
Same idea, not a badge of honor. It's a huge flashing sign. There's a better way. It's telling you to stop the self-attack, stop believing that sacrifice and struggle are the only paths.
We need to ditch unnecessary struggle. It's defined as resistance, isn't it?
Always a choice. And it's how the ego keeps its story going, the drama of hardship, of being separate and embattled. Struggle just isn't natural for the unconditioned self.
And that often ties into perfectionism.
Oh, definitely. The book puts it bluntly. There are no happy perfectionists.
Yeah. Always setting conditions. I'll be happy when.
Exactly. When I'm flawless, when I achieve this, when I fix that. They call them, well, a bit punchy, masturbators.
Masturbators.
Yeah, people driven by endless musts and shoulds, always getting ready to be happy, but never actually allowing it now.
So we need to swap that striving for flow, which includes giving and receiving.
Yes, give up the fear that giving means losing. Because whatever you give kindness, support, resources you actually affirm for yourself, you experience the abundance you're sharing.
And the flip side, getting better at receiving.
Crucial. The sources say there are No shortages, only a lack of willingness to receive.
Hmm.
Receiving means letting go of pride, letting go of that addiction to struggle the ego loves. The ego, which is basically a thought of lack, it can't survive in genuine unconditional receiving.
And the ultimate release tool seems to be forgiveness.
The miracle worker, they call it, the final release from the past. Like that advice from the Dalai Lama's physician. Empty your bowl of yesterday's rice.
Holding on to a grievance. It hurts us.
Always. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Forgiveness is about setting yourself free. It gives you wings because you're no longer chained to the past, to that old painful identity. It's choosing wholeness now.
Okay, so wrapping this all together,
Right.
the journey seems to be about, first, accepting that core perfection, the unconditioned self, is already here right now.
Mhm.
And second, actively letting go of the egos limits the fences by choosing better thoughts, better perceptions, committing to flow, and finding happiness now, not later.
We've really explored how shifting your perspective can move you from feeling trapped inside limits to realizing those limits might not even be real.
Like that classic 9 dots puzzle. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, connect 9 dots with 4 straight lines, don't lift the pen.
Right. And most people get stuck because they instinctively try to stay inside the square the dots make.
They impose a boundary that isn't actually in the rules.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that imaginary square, that's the ego. That's the box built from our conditioning, our musts, our shoulds,
Yeah.
the rules we think we have to follow,
But the only way to solve it,
is to draw lines that go outside the box.
yeah,
You have to break the imagined boundary.
you have to question the limits you've accepted. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. Are you still operating, maybe flying, inside the boundaries of a box that isn't actually there? True freedom, real transformation, it takes courage. The willingness to step beyond the fear of what seems like the edge, the unknown, even if that edge is imaginary.
Choosing to heal, choosing to let your own light shine. It really is a gift, not just to yourself, but to everyone around you. The whole world gains.
Until next time.